gotta show that off, dude. All right, we're on.
Hey!
Hey.
Welcome.
It's the Genesee County Compassion Club show.
Whoa, yeah.
Thanks for joining us. It's a beautiful day here in Flint. Absolutely gorgeous.
It is. Like, finally,
Warm.
we've got some weather.
Tobe is loading up his vape. He's got some
Just hooked up.
liquid green crack.
This green crack is phenomenal.
That's the strain name, green crack.
Mm.
You know, it's such a terrible name. It's like one of the weed now that everybody's searching for.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's because it's so low, it's like 1.6% THC. So I think that's the reason. Like, when people got the weed, they just kept smoking it, like it's good,
Yeah.
but they were trying to get high. So they're like, that stuff's like crack, man. I just want to keep smoking it. I think that's the case. I don't really know. And it is sativa, I think. Maybe that comes along with the name a little bit. I'm not sure.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, that's one of those ones that's it's like 1 point something THC and 13 something CBD.
Yeah,
Of course, I'd like to know what that is though, because that's like concentrated form of it.
yeah, I believe that is it. Like that's what the concept, but it's like 6% CBD, 6 or 7%. Seriously, it's so tasty. It tastes like Mike and Ike's candy.
Very
It
nice.
does. And I don't want to drop names, but the grower did a good job. Oh yeah, there she goes.
There it is. Vaporizer in action. We're actually going to talk a little bit about vaporizers today. That's one of them.
You in?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Oh, that's tasty.
Very cool. Yeah, so, Colorado, Canada, they're not the only places with CBD strains.
Well, that's isn't that what Florida just did? They're just going to allow high CBD strains.
Well, that's, one of those technicality things. It's not full on, you can have CBD strains, but that's one of the legislation things they've been looking at.
I imagine.
You know those e-cigarettes people have? I mean, use could medical marijuana be used like that in one of those things or what?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that boils down to what do you call an e-cigarette nowadays? You've got the ones that you buy at the store that actually look like a cigarette.
Right.
And then you've got what Toby has right there. Whether you call it an e-cigarette or a vaporizer, it's kind of the same thing. And then, when you start talking about vaporizers, there's a really broad range out there of what's available. So you've got the handheld models, that fashion, sort of look like pens. Toby's is a little bit more elaborate there. It's got the glass dome. I've heard people calling that the, nectar collector or something like
honey
that?
dome. No, the nectar collector is another separate thing.
Okay.
It's its own pipe on its own. But yeah, they're honey domes.
Honey dome.
Honey domes. So obviously, meant for honey.
Right.
They're not lying about it.
Yeah, you don't want to
Covering it up.
You don't want to put flour in there. It's
Right.
not going to work so well. But that's for concentrate. So and a lot of those, even the ones for nicotine purposes, they're coming in like an oil form. That's just how it's packaged and how the unit itself works best.
Yeah, that stuff's pretty tasty too. I've tried a couple of that. People are trying to quit smoking, and you can downgrade your level of nicotine.
Well, I guess
It's actually pretty cool.
I like to compare that because a lot of people get freaked out when you talk about concentrates when it comes to cannabis, and
Right.
really that's what that type of form is really no different than the type of concentrate that you're getting for nicotine. So when people, not that we're trying to advocate tobacco
Right.
purposes, but you can imagine like this dry cigarette form that people use, and then also they have the type that's in the vaporizers, which is a liquid form of it. This is kind of a liquidized form of that.
Exactly.
In a concentrated application, so that way you don't, for one, you don't need as much. I mean,
Yeah, it's definitely more medicinal
absolutely,
for sure.
and then you have the vapor instead of the smoke, so it's a better way to go.
Healthier. You might
How much
say.
would one of those run on the ballpark, the one he's using now?
We sell the pens for, I think they're 102 out the door at the club,
Okay.
and comes with a battery and a case and your charger, and it actually comes with another herb attachment now too. Like it comes so you can smoke herb or concentrates, and it comes with a little lanyard so you can hang it and keep it on you all the time. Which I noticed lots of people. I went to Disney over Christmas, and lots of people were just walking around with them. They weren't getting hassled or anything. I don't know if it was tobacco in there or what they were smoking, but they were just walking around, in line waiting for rides. Nobody was hassling over nothing.
That's one of the benefits as well, is it's very discreet. There's hardly any smell to it at all. You can see there's no smoke really other than what you see inside of the dome.
Yeah.
So it's a lot less invasive. It's something that you should really be able to use in public because, like I'm sitting right here, I couldn't even tell other than visually that he's medicating.
You see, like one time when Eric was still coming in, and he had his friends come with him, that one of his patients,
Yeah.
he started putting together his vaporizer and using it, and I was like, well, we don't all smoking in here, and it's like, well, and then I started, when I went in there, you couldn't even, I mean, there's just a slight odor, you could tell, basically, but I mean, it's just so significantly less than if you were actually burning one in there,
Right.
or even a cigarette,
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
not to the annoying point, like for somebody that doesn't smoke, it's, like you say, they might smell it a little bit, but they're not going to run out of the room like in the old days. Could be days.
Right.
But the beneficial aspects of marijuana is definitely, that's a concentrate you're using currently, right? Or is that extra material?
Yeah, no, it's a concentrate. Yeah, the bud trim,
Yeah.
or small buds.
It's stuff you actually grow yourself.
No, a friend of mine does.
Okay.
Yeah, he just gave me his trim, and I make the concentrate for him. But, yeah, you just strip all the good stuff off there. It's basically layman's terms. You get rid of all the plant matter and the carcinogens, so it's better for you.
Well, no.
It is a change. It's definitely different to the lungs, like
Right.
for just a smoker that smokes joints or whatever. There's definitely a little curve, their learning curve on how to smoke vapors instead of smoke. It's different.
Okay, now I should admit stupidity here, I guess, because I've been around you guys long enough. I should know. But could hash oil be used in that a vaporizer like that, or
Well, that's essentially what hash oil is. It's just
It's a
we have a
concentrate.
million different names for the same thing.
right?
And there's a lot of different ways to get to that end product, but it's just concentrating down what's usable and separating it from the plant.
Yeah, and there's a lot of full melt bubble hash. And,
Yeah, and again, I mean, some processes are going to have different end results as far as their ability to clean that, and then not remove some of that plant matter. You know what I mean? So a lot of times you'll see hash, at least what's referred to back in the old days, that has a not just a tarry, appearance to it and texture, but also it'll have fiber in it, and so
Right.
that's a lot of times what will cause it to break off in chunks or something like that. And the finer the hash is, the more you're going to have, it'd be like a sandy substance almost.
yeah, gooey, you get the stickiness still.
Yeah, yeah. So, and it will melt right down because all that really is that's just finely broken off pieces of resin from the plant, essentially.
I've been seeing it more and more. People are trying, back in the day when they'd make their bubble hash, they'd always keep that for themselves, usually.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now they're realizing that that's where the market is, that's what people want.
Yeah. So, and it's pretty cool. I mean, like I said, it's this here is pretty special because it's a green crack, and I really wish it had a different name, but
Very
it's
rare.
It's a harder strain to come by in Michigan, that's for sure. And it's similar to like what people have been talking about on the news, like Charlotte's Web. It's a high CBD strain, low THC, so there's very little psychoactive effect, if any at all. And it's mostly, you could call it purely medicinal use.
Yeah, it's
So-
been helping my back. My back went out a couple weeks ago on me again, and it's been hell to say the least. But yeah, it helps. I mean, I can't sit or stand for more than an hour or so, but it definitely helps. Like, and it's tasty.
Very cool. All right. Yeah, I was going to read this article here. This is it's on Leaf Science, but it's kind of funny we were talking about that because we had this new research came out. This Australian researcher, John Malouf, he's a researcher, like I said, Australian, did a study, experiences of marijuana vaporizer uses or users, and it was published this month. It's out there. It's 96 interviewed individuals started using vaporizers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, instead of on their own initiative is what it says, but instead of typically smoking it, and so they did their research, whatever they came up with. They said it felt easier on their lungs. Some of the feedback they got, no more coughing, stuff like that. Better taste, like you mentioned, very tasty.
Oh, yes.
Has a clean taste. There's, like I was saying, there's not any smoke that goes along with it. And actually, they were saying that you get more effect for the same amount of marijuana. So it kind of conserves your medication
Yep.
and can make
You
it
don't
last a
have a
little
big
longer.
bag of nugs in your pocket anymore.
Right? Yeah.
You can have your little container and your pen. You're all good.
Very discreet. And some of the things they said that they're hard to clean, as we were talking about earlier just before the show started. You do have to clean your vaporizer, and it's best if you do it regularly.
Example.
Yeah.
Old, new.
How would you clean that? Would you actually use water, or do you use like a pipe cleaner?
I usually just use a toothpick, and I'll just get in there and wipe it down as much as I can.
Yeah.
You know, if you really, really want to clean it, use alcohol.
And so you basically look like you swapped out the ball part. You basically just swap them out. And it didn't.
Yeah, well, I've had that one for a while. Yeah, people that watch all the time might remember when I first got that one. It was what it's been before Christmas, so I've had probably 6 months before I've bothered replacing it. There's still nothing wrong with that one. I just didn't want to take the time to clean it, being lazy.
So you can actually rotate. I mean, just alternate. You could clean that
I
one.
clean that one up and have that one in there waiting for when this one gets dirty.
Sure.
And then I actually have the original one. It comes with one like this on the pen. So yeah, good to go.
There's more science to this, and I'm learning more about this. So you guys have been coming in for a couple of years now with the show, and it's like I'm learning more and more about this stuff. You can't just say these guys are a bunch of burnouts. I mean, there's a lot to this, man. There really
absolutely.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, a lot of patients who come across, get overwhelmed. When they first get signed up, and they say, okay, I want to try this out now, and and even if they've been a recreational user, trying it out medicinally is a different experience altogether.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and there is a lot to learn from even from, like I said, those who have previously used it recreationally. Medicinally, it's a whole new level. So it's pretty cool.
I got that book from Jorge Cervantes about the one that basically probably is a primer. And not that I'm actually going to grow it. I don't really have the intention of that, but amazing amount of scientific stuff behind that.
Sure.
Well written, but it is almost like overwhelming. Man.
Yeah. And to cultivate it, that's a whole nother ball game as well. So it's I don't know. I like that setup, Toby. That's cool. Very very nice setup. Got there, and it's
easy.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Very organized.
I truly believe it's the future. I believe in 10 years, people will be looking back and laughing at people for smoking cigarettes and joints and things like that. I really do. I think concentrates is going to be the way. There's no, you can't get past that. I mean, that's the best there is.
Well, and now in society with the whole, smoking has been just sort of poo-pooed on, obviously, for obvious reasons.
Definitely.
But I mean, it's more sociable now as well. If you're going to use smoke, don't smoke, vaporize.
Yeah. For sure. And I know the tobacco place I go to, every time I'm in there, somebody's at that thing asking questions about pens and trying to figure out the deal. So it's definitely the future.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, this year the study would confirm 84 of the 96 participants that reported said they were satisfied or very satisfied with their vaporizer experience, and 97.9 said they intended to continue using their vaporizer. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool if they use 98 people instead of like a dozen.
Right. We had 5 people.
A dozen 60-year-olds. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
With the facts. Yeah, when I see it every day, more people are asking questions. Even, if they see me smoking my pen or whatever, they want to come up and ask questions.
I can tell you, there's actually a numerous studies about vaporizing and the benefits of it, and as compared to just outright smoking. And I mean, it's definitely something you have to consider if you're going to be medicating in that form. No question.
I believe other medications even, are going to steer that route once it gets more popular.
Well, we just got in the new vitamins over at the Holistic Center.
Yes.
And those are a spray.
And they work.
It's not a vaporizer, don't get me wrong. It's a spray, like a breath spray almost.
Yeah,
I
did
And now, is any of these concentrates
the other day.
actually used sublingually, underneath the tongue?
That's what the vitamins are.
Yeah,
that we're
yeah,
talking
sublingual,
about.
yeah. Because they do have a quicker effect, because, basically it just seems to be able to enter the bloodstream quickly.
Actually,
under the
Sativex, I believe, is a spray.
Yeah.
The spray that's made by GW.
I would like to see it going out. Get rid of pills.
Yeah. It absorbs better into your body. Pills don't break down as well. They don't get absorbed as well by the stomach.
Yeah, pills are so hard on your organs, inner organs, the stomach.
Yep, so you bypass all of that by getting it directly into your bloodstream, right through underneath your tongue and your mouth.
Yeah.
I know a guy used to use the Lauded, painkiller, and he used to grind it up and snort it. And I asked the pharmacist what the benefit would that be, and of course he doesn't recommend it, but because it's a such devastating drug, to the liver.
Yeah.
It avoids the first pass. So some people use drugs like that will do that because it'll avoid the first pass through the liver.
Oh, okay.
And so you don't have it process it twice through the system, I guess. But there's less devastation
So
to the
having it
system.
in pill form was actually causing
Yeah.
people to find a different way to ingest. Yeah, that's right there. It
Yeah,
says there's a
that's
flaw in the system.
Yeah, see, that's whereas the delivery system for marijuana, some people say smoking anything's not good for your lungs,
Right.
but it doesn't seem to have, and some people dispute that, but it doesn't seem smoking marijuana has the devastating effect that smoking tobacco does on the lungs.
You're right about that. I mean, whether or not, I don't think anybody's going to debate, no matter what the results are, that smoking is good for you. It certainly isn't. But like you said, John, there's been quite a few reports that have come out and said, hey, marijuana smoking is not linked to, COPD or other types of things like this,
Right.
that they would associate tobacco use with. So it's
And
pretty.
it seems that they've pretty much proven that smoking marijuana counteracts other things like that. Like if you smoke cigarettes and weed, it helps with your body deal with the toxins from the tobacco.
Yeah, that's right.
Kind of weird, but yeah, that's awesome.
All right. Coolio. Yeah, the vaporizers are neat. Oops, I'm adding events here. Don't mean to be doing that.
Add events. It's the add events section of the show.
Yeah, events coming up for the Compassion Club. I think the only thing we have right now is our soup kitchen. And that's coming up June 6th, which is a Friday, as always. June 6th, so mark that down on your calendars.
6th of June.
Yes.
June 6th. Mark it down and remember it, because it's Soup Kitchen Day.
Jingling.
I'm just going to start writing jingles.
Very nice. All right, we got a study here. This is marijuana epilepsy. They got trials for it in Scotland. Scotland. Yes.
Well then.
We need a kilt. Put on a kilt.
I've got one right outside.
Awesome. Yeah, let's see here. The drug, Epidiolex. We talked about that before. That's also I believe it's coming in a spray form. Anyways, it is a high CBD form of cannabis produced by GW Pharmaceuticals. And they are putting out a study, it says here in Scotland. They want to get one going, I guess. Dr. Chin. He's the man. Richard Chin, a pediatric neurologist with the Muir Maxwell Epilepsy Center in Edinburgh University, says here believes the drug may be able to help those who don't respond to traditional treatments. It says one of the exciting things about CBD isn't seizure control alone; it's anti-epilepsy properties. It also improves behavior and cognition, he says. So very cool. There's been a couple studies that have talked about marijuana use for epilepsy, obviously helping out with stopping the seizures, and it's had amazing effects. Just seen the program on CNN about the trials out in Colorado with the little kids. So this is kind of going along with that. Seems to be spreading. So it's kind of like what you're using right there.
Yep.
Is what they're going to be studying.
And if you noticed, I have not had a seizure the whole show.
This is true. So this one here, like I said, it's called Epidiolex. It's going to be available to the study, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, GW Pharmaceutical, they're going to get that passed. I mean, that's just, they're going to, I think, somehow reschedule the drug policy here in the U.S. I think that's what's going to happen, and then you'll be seeing that put out. They already have a approval to do research on it, from the feds. So
Right on.
yes,
They're coming around.
they're getting there.
I mean, they're just trying to keep all that stuff on the back burner. They knew it was coming. They're just waiting for the people to ask for it, I guess. Demand it, I should say.
Right.
Yeah. Quit hiding it. Give us the research. You know better. Quit being you.
So, I don't know. It's kind of, if you look at Canada, they've had Sativex available for a while, and despite that, you still see their market through Health Canada, even increasing. And as you see now, corporations getting into growing for the patients.
Right.
But I mean, it hasn't really stopped the growth of the desire, or however you want to put it, the need for the flower form.
Right.
even though you can still, you can go to your doctor, you can get your prescription. Obviously, there's some people that's not doing it for them for whatever reason, and so they want to still get it from a different source,
Right. And they should be able to, for sure.
I think so, but I think that's also a testament to how cannabis works and why some strains are so effective for some people and other strains aren't. Whereas when you get in that synthesized form, where it's been broken down to the very minimals, everything else has been stripped away, and the same medicinal effects, the benefits that come along with a complete strain, aren't being realized, by this other form.
There's a lot of things on the plant that we don't test for still necessarily or whatever on a regular basis.
Sure.
We don't know what's there or what we strip off when we got, we might miss some things that's necessary for their benefit when we're making concentrates. It
Right.
might stay behind.
Well, and then having that right ratio of CBDs in there. And the other thing is like we get hung up on talking about like THC or CBD, but there's like 66 different types of cannabinoids.
Right.
Maybe probably more. We just haven't figured out what they are yet. But these different things that obviously we have an endocannabinoid system in our body, which is built to receive these. And so you're getting a different blend every time when you have different strains. And almost, unless you're just getting the same batch from your grower, from your caregiver, once that crop is used up, the next batch will be different, even if it's the same strain.
Yeah. Sure.
So the growing conditions have a big impact on this as well. But I think that's why there's always going to be a market for cannabis itself.
Yeah.
And besides having it in a pill form or a spray form or whatever, I think you're always going to have people using it medicinally and wanting to get that in its complete plant form.
Right.
So,
and some people prefer to ingest it, like the plant matter itself too.
Sure. Well, and that's kind of hard to argue on the medicinal side. You'd be like, well, just go eat a sandwich or something, you know what I mean? But no, I need to ingest.
Right.
So anyways, that's kind of cool.
Hell yes.
Let's see what else we got here.
Oh.
I know that we're working hard at the club down there at getting the machine up and rolling. Looks like maybe as early as like 2 weeks from today, potentially.
Nice.
Might be able to do something. So getting all the stuff that we need, our standards put in place, and then we're going to have our factory technician come back out, make sure everything's dialed in just right.
Tweaky, tweaky, tweaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need that guy to make sure everything's right.
Yep. So he'll be coming in here shortly, and then we'll be rocking, doing some testing at the G3C. That's going to be cool.
Yep. I'm happy about all the new glass we got in too.
Yeah.
You guys should come in if you haven't been in a minute. Come in, check out the new showcase with all kinds of new glass rigs, little cute little rigs.
I was happy with the prices, man. They were like nice.
On point.
Yeah.
Everybody that's seen like, oh man, I just seen it over there for twice as much or whatever.
Yeah. Got some good deals. I was surprised.
And these pens, even somebody come in and they said they couldn't find them for like less than 160. The same pens, so they come in and bought 2 of them. So, I'm working magic.
Very cool. Come in and check out the new stuff if you can. And we have a nice little showcase over there for the new glassware.
We need to get some like big, huge lighting just glowing over there.
I think it's coming. I think it's coming.
Yeah.
All right, I got another story I'll share with you guys. This is workers' comp insurance must cover medical marijuana in New Mexico. There's a new one. That's pretty cool.
So you're saying if I get hurt at work, and I'm a Mexican employee, and I get hurt at work,
New Mexico.
New Mexican employee, and I get hurt at work, then I can go pick up my medical marijuana and.
Well, it's if you're already a patient
Right.
and you're getting medical marijuana as part of your treatment, then that also will be covered on workman's comp should you have a claim.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, very cool.
Aflac.
Aflac has to buy the papers. They'll cover your papers or your vaporizer, whichever you need.
That's good. That's good because that truly would be awful. You get sick or whatever. Something happens and you gotta sit at home and recoup, and you can't afford your medicine or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge part of life.
I really think it's a patient's right. You know what I mean? If they're already getting that as part of their treatment, and all of a sudden something happens, I mean, well, of course insurance should cover your loss. That's what it's supposed to do. It shouldn't just be able to exclude certain medications. Be like, oh, well, I mean, it's just...
Yeah, we don't really care for that over here where our home base is. So, I'm sorry.
There was a court case. There's a ruling that stems from a mechanic, Greg Villalpando. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right. I'm sorry. Villalpando, who uses medical marijuana to help alleviate back pain from surgery that he had in 2000. And the man's former employer, Benz Automotive in Santa Fe, fought the decision that they shouldn't have to pay for his marijuana. Because they said it was federally illegal, so we shouldn't have to pay for this as well. But his attorney, boom, made it happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah, New Mexico now is the only state that insurers have to cover medical marijuana. It says neighboring Colorado has the same language in the state constitution absolving insurers from covering medical cannabis. We have one of those as well here in Michigan, I believe.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I think it was for disability and workman's comp.
Okay.
I mean, workman's comp is an insurance anyway, so if they got the
Right.
insurance companies to say, hey, we don't have to pay for this, I know they had a bill.
Right.
You can bet the insurance company was like, oh, whoa.
Squash that now.
Yeah, we're not paying for that. But I think they should have to pay for it.
They should.
You know, it's
What's
not
the
like
difference?
you're telling them they can go. I guess the same thing. Like if you're on, you got some kind of policy that covers you, and you're going through some sort of sickness, and now they're paying for your treatment.
Right.
I mean, if you decided to do, something alternative, there's a lot of different types of alternative therapies out there. Insurance companies can take a look and see what they want to cover and what they don't think they should have to cover, and they go from there. I don't think that they need a law specifying to say, well, you don't have to cover this one for sure.
Right.
It should be a case-by-case basis. I think that obviously cancer patients, AIDS patients, Crohn's, on and on and on the list goes, that people qualify for medical marijuana. You think about that, they're obviously going through a lot of different types of treatment. Some or most of that's probably being covered by their insurance if they have coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Why shouldn't their medical marijuana be too?
You should.
And it's not like the insurance companies are going to take it on the chin. They're going to raise your price of your insurance, but
Of course.
you should have coverage. That's how
I
it
guess you
works.
can't blame their lawyers for trying to fight it, but yeah, I'm glad they won.
Yeah, it's
He
very
won
cool.
in New Mexico.
So, Viva New Mexico!
Mm-hmm.
Ay, ay, ay. And, sorry. I'm like, we don't talk like that here, you idiot.
New Mexico, ayos míos.
All right, did you guys see the story about the FBI? This is kind of funny or interesting.
I did not.
They, as far as they're taking on a whole lot of applicants right now to fight cyber crime, and it seems that they're not getting their quotas filled with proper applicants because of their too strict policy in regards to marijuana. So the FBI is looking at potentially loosening the slack there, and maybe letting a few slide. There's a report I was reading this morning on, I forget what newspaper it was, but they were saying that the one fella he remarked that some of these guys might want to smoke on their way to the interview and they can't get enough people there.
Wow. Yeah, I believe that's cool. I mean, I think like police officers, or whatever, they should be able to, on their own time, they should be able to medicate. I mean, not at work. They shouldn't be hitting the pen as they're getting out to come to your door.
I don't know. It's just kind of funny. We can't get enough people to hire him for the job, so.
It's like Home Depot long time ago. That Hash Bash, one of the speakers was like, "Yeah, just go to Home Depot and apply for the job and do the drug test.
Right.
Do so many. If they get so many failed, they'll just drop it." And they had to. Like it worked at Myers and somewhere else. Yeah, they eventually just had to. It was wasting too much money on drug tests.
Well, I don't think this is a matter of cost per se, as it might be as far as getting the right people in there. But that's kind of, that's funny, man. You got these people out there. They're obviously some of the best computer people you can find if the FBI is looking to hire them to fight cybercrime. You know what I mean? Like these guys are the best of the best, and obviously we didn't hold them back from exhibiting their talents. Put it that way.
Oh, because they smoke weed, they're not stupid? Wow, that's amazing.
Anyways, yeah, they're not coming right out and saying that they're lifting the ban or anything. It's not like FBI people can go out and start token up anytime soon. But what they are looking at doing is, I guess the policy was 3 years. If you had admitted on your application or tested, either way, that you had used cannabis within the last 3 years of your application date, it was no-go. So now they're looking at, well, maybe we'll see what we can do to dance around that. There was one fella that said he was gonna interview for the job, but then said, heard that policy and said, well, no, I'm not gonna now. And the person said, they were from the FBI. They said, well, maybe you should apply anyways.
We'll see what we can do. We are the FBI.
We will find out.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously they need some help down there for all you computer tech savvy people that are also medical patients. Feel free to apply. New York, looks like they have a medical marijuana bill. It's gaining initial approval anyways, moving through the Senate Health Committee. It's the first ever measure to pass their health committee there in New York. So we'll see how it goes for them. Good luck.
Yeah, hopefully. How many states we have now?
I believe it's 22.
Getting up there. That's pretty impressive.
Sure.
I think. I mean, it's taken a while. In California, it's been there for a minute, but
I think since 94 or 96. I think maybe 96. Get them confused a little bit. So
yeah,
I think
it's
18
taken
years.
a while. But
Heck yeah. And they're still waging the war. There's another report here. This is from Toka the Town. The Inland Empire City of Riverside successfully shut down marijuana dispensaries, taking their right and their fight all the way to the Supreme Court. And City Hall won the battle. So looks like they're getting a weed shop ban there. Not cool.
where?
In Riverside, California.
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, they're like, not in our town.
Yeah.
It's Riverside.
Is it? Riverside, damn it. We don't have no wacky weed up in here. We're old school.
Take your shop somewhere else. Alright. Not a whole lot of other medical marijuana news. Some of the same states of the bills kind of bouncing around. There's some articles out there about that. And the same ones as far as like the proposals. Like Florida, that's on the ballot this year. Obviously New York's working on some stuff. Illinois is going into action here soon. And then you got other states like Nevada that's working on implementing dispensaries. They already have medical marijuana there, but now they're looking at a license and
Gotcha.
retail stores.
What's the current count of states that now allow some form of medical marijuana use?
Damn it, John, weren't you paying attention?
No, sorry, I had people come in here. I admit that I wasn't paying attention. I was like, remember the guy left his.
Somebody's vapor drifting over there.
Yeah.
Can you forget stuff?
Yeah, I'm serious. I'm getting hungry right now. I got the munchies, but
22
Poor
or
John.
22 the number?
Yeah, 22.
22.
Yeah, 22.
I'm sorry if you did cover. I'm sorry, but I had people come in
You
here.
just asked. It's too funny. All right. John is a multitask man. He doesn't always just sit behind the desk.
But before we go, how many states allow medical marijuana?
Let me look that up. I'm going to confirm that before we go.
Beep, boop, beep, boop, boop, beep. The old deuce. Look at that.
Double deuce. Let's see here. Where would it be? Come on now. Oh, safe access now. Good grief.
I think I'm going to go get the leaves out of my flower beds today. I don't know what to do. It's like so nice. Walk the dog, wash the car, go to the beach.
Walk the car.
Walk the car, wash the dog, change the flat on my cat. Can't go roller skating in the buffalo herd. You ever heard that song? It's awesome.
Sounds like a Primus song or
It's
something.
like an old fucking weird song.
Primus.
Primus back on tour long ago.
I think it is 22.
We're gonna go with 22.
That's what we're going with.
If you don't believe us,
Prove us
in
wrong.
and tell us the right number. And we will say that number instead.
Number's right here. Give us a call and tell us. We're waiting.
Oh. Use those anymore? I actually still have one. It's awesome.
I think they're coming back.
Takes like 5 minutes. Call me
Oh,
back.
damn it, wrong number.
5 minutes later. What the hell taking so long? Rotary phone, man.
I love the ones in there coming out with them. And he had digital out there, but they still made those. And get one of those. You ever seen one that has a redial button?
No.
Like, wow.
Does it do that?
No, it was like fake. I mean, and that's at the point that you realized you weren't really doing anything when you spun the dial.
Right.
Clockwork. No, I don't have a whole lot of other information. That's about it.
Yeah, I think
We're
we're
gonna get
good.
out there and clean some flower beds.
That's what you guys should do.
Yeah.
Get off the couch, out of a computer chair. We'll clean something around your house, make it look nice. Your neighbors will love you for it.
Like, wow, he's the best ever.
Mm-hmm.
What if he come do my yard?
It'll inspire your neighbors to be clean.
That's a good thing. We need that.
I know. I can tell my neighbors do that, so I'll take care of my yard.
There you go. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us this week. This is the Genesee County Compassion Club show. Tobe, thanks for being here, brother.
No problem. Thanks
All
for having
right.
me.
John, appreciate you being in the studio today. And thanks for having us, Flint Talk Radio. Catch us next week. Guys, have a good one.